Hey folks, it's been a while since I've given you a video. Sorry about that, but the good news is that the reason it's been a while is because I've been working on actual features. So let me show you what I've been doing, and we'll start with a quick overview of the Deck Analyzer, both for context into what I'm going to show you, and for folks who have stumbled into this video without knowing what the Deck Analyzer is. You'll kind of see what we're talking about. So the Deck Analyzer, the MTG Deck Analyzer, is a tool for helping you build and optimize your MTG decks. That's Magic the Gathering for those of you who've really stumbled your way into this video and have no idea what you're doing. If you don't know what Magic the Gathering is, leave now. You don't belong here. Okay, but seriously, it is a unique approach to deck analysis, deck building tools. What we do is we ask for your strategy in terms of tactics. So you can see here, one of my tactics is Disrupt. I'm saying I need 3 Disrupt type cards by turn 5. I have decided what this tactic is. This is text that I've entered, and as you can see on my deck list, I get to tag my cards however I want. If for some reason the Solemn Offering, when it was played, gave me white mana, I would tag it white mana. It doesn't, so I'm going to untag it from white mana. But I do consider it in this deck to be Disrupt and Gain Life. So it's tagged with Disrupt and Gain Life. Okay, that's how that works. I create a strategy. I add cards to fulfill that strategy. What the Deck Analyzer does for me then is it looks at my strategy. It gives me per tactic statistics, but most importantly, it tells me my overall success rate. What this number means is that if I just shuffled my deck and started playing without looking, without mulliganing or anything like that, 51% of the time, all of my tactics would land in the game as planned. Okay. One of the next most important reporting widgets on this page is this one here, the land pacing. This tells me, using land alone for mana, how basically is my deck going to work? Is it gonna be competitive? Looking at this last number here, the 17, this basically says that I have a card in this deck that is expensive enough that the quantity of land in the deck won't be able to play that card on average until turn 17. Basically what that means. So that's kind of bad, unless I have some other cards in here for acceleration, which I don't think I do. So that's bad. All right, so how do I fix that? Man, I really don't want to think and go through and figure out which cards are assigned to Disrupt and Gain Life and which ones are assigned to do damage and gain life or do damage and disrupt, and all of these different categories, and figure out what the precise right balance is to make this number the maximum and this number the minimum, and also maximize on card potency. Oh man, that's a lot of work. Well, I've added this button right here that I just clicked. The Optimize 60 Plus will tell me, using complex computer sciencey stuff, what the optimal balance is, and this is it. So I'm going to apply these suggestions blindly. I could, say, oh no, I really, really want this Reeve Soul in here, and I could uncheck this one. That's fine. But I'm just going to apply this blindly to a new deck, see what we get. And we go from, what was it, 51% up to 68%, which is pretty good. And the land pacing dramatically improved, right? You can also kind of assume that there's a hidden component here, which is card power, card potency. It's not like creature power, but it's card potency, card utility. So there's like an X factor behind the scenes that's also being maximized here as well. Yeah. So the Optimize 100 Plus is for commander style decks. This will respect card uniqueness rules. And so what you want to do if you're going to do this, you want to have a commander build basically, but you want to have more than 100 cards, like 120, 150, numbers more than 100. You hit this button and it will find the best 100 cards to maximize success rate, land pacing, that hidden X factor. There you go. Okay. And the third thing to show you is this suggest cards button. What this will actually do is for all of the cards in your deck, it's going to look for similar cards with respect to the tactics they're in. How does it do that? Well, it looks for each tactic, for example, like so for disrupt, it's going to look at all of the cards you've assigned to disrupt and try to figure out what's the same between those cards. It's going to use that to try and detect features of the cards and then look for more cards like that. It's going to do that for each one of these tactics. Each card with respect to their tactics. I forget exactly what I do. It's looking for similar cards, and then it's going to try and find the cards that fulfill the most of those tactics the best. Not all of these are going to be a fit for this deck because this is a commons deck, and the rule for this deck is that they have to be commons. But we can see here, so it's picking up on the word life. It misses the fact that it needs to be gain life and not lose life, so we uncheck the gain life, but good try. This is actually pretty cool. I like this. So we're going to add one of those. Let's see, that's not a common, not a common, not a common. Here we go. Add mana of any color. I like that. Put counters on creatures. So it gets the mana. I might, like that either way. What is this? Okay, so it's finding some stuff. I don't know. Point is, if I had like just a handful of cards, this is better for early stuff. If I had a handful of cards and I was trying to build up a deck, or if I had a bunch of cards that like fulfilled one or two tactics, and I just had a feeling there were cards out there that could really nail a variety of things that I need my deck to do, I could do that. As it is, I'm going to add these to the deck. Once it's added to the deck, the analysis reruns immediately. You can see that my land pacing got worse. I can then re-optimize. I'm sure. Let's apply that to this deck and see what we get. So land pacing is back down. Success rate is still up. And presumably behind the scenes, card potency is up. Okay, last thing. Consult AI agent. Okay. This is pretty cool because like up to this point, I have decided, what it means for a card to give black mana. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but I've decided what it means for a card to gain life. I've decided what it means to do damage, to disrupt, all of that. And like rightfully so, right? Because you could have cards that disrupt. Like you could have like maybe under certain conditions, every time a land enters, like you have landfall, right? That counts as disruption, or maybe it's doing damage, whatever. Maybe it's gaining you life. And so you could have combinations where cards that the deck analyzer by default is not going to know fulfill a tactic, they fulfill a tactic. So up to this point, this is all determined by me, my strategy, my cards, all of that. And it's all just data driven based off that. When I hit this consult AI agent button, it bundles up my tactics, my cards, and my analysis into I swear to you, a like super duper painstakingly crafted LLM prompt to give me a summary of the deck, some play guidance, and then an assessment of the deck. And this is really helpful for somebody that doesn't have a lot of time, especially somebody who's not playing competitively, to be able to load your deck, not even play anyone, not even do a sample like draw of cards or anything, have a pretty good assessment that tells me like, yeah, you're going to be able to play this deck in these settings, but probably not these settings, right? So this is an intermediate level deck. That's maybe a little generous. Its strong disruption elements can compete in a casual to semi-competitive setting, which with this deck I've actually found to be true. I've played this against non-commons decks, and just the fact that the success rate was high and the balance was right and all of that, like it was pretty good starting out. I found that, to actually not suck that bad. The pace is around 5 to 6 turns, which is reasonable for its strategy and card distribution. Yeah, for its semi-competitive or more casual play, yeah, that is totally fine. And then there's like a tactical summary. Like if I wanted more tactical guidance, if I wanted to go through maybe even do some Googling to see like if it mentions any archetypes or specific cards or anything like that. I could do that. I could go and I could do a little bit more research. I think honestly the most important thing here, the thing that I found the best here, is the player's guide. It will tell me what kind of decks I'm going to be weak against, what things to look out for. It will tell me what to do with my cards. If like I had a different idea about my deck and it said, oh, you should actually be using this for that or whatever, I'm being vague, but really one of the most important things is this overall assessment. Before I play a card, before I even go to the table, I have found that this actually gives me pretty good feedback as to whether my deck is going to play well at the table I want to sit at with it. So yeah, all 4 of these buttons, especially these 2 and this one for my style of play, the Optimize 60 Plus Suggest Cards and Consult AI Agent, I have found to be super duper valuable for my own deck building already. All of this stuff was super fun to work on too. So yeah, please remember to do all the YouTube things. Leave a comment telling me what you'd like to see the Deck Analyzer do, or if you want me to run through any specific decks, go ahead and add them to the Deck Analyzer. Drop a link in the comments. I'd be happy to look at them and walk through them. If you've got problems with decks, same thing. Put a deck in the Deck Analyzer, drop a comment, and tell me what's up, what it's doing wrong, what it should be doing instead. Yeah. Thank you for watching.